President Biden reportedly told an ally he knows he'll have to bow out of the 2024 race for the White House if he can't turn things around in the coming days following last week's train wreck. The 81-year-old president has apparently pinned his re-election future on the ABC's news interview and campaign stops in Pennsylvania and Wisconsin over the holiday weekend. The New York Times reported he knows if he has two more events like the debate, we're in a different place. He knows that. So the remark marks the first evidence that Biden is considering giving up his bid for a second term after he and his team repeatedly rejected the possibility pre-June 27 debate. He blames it on world travels. I think, Rob, we even have a clip of this one that he does that, right? Do you have that?
I have Karine Jean-Pierre talking about his jet lag.
His jet lag travel. Anyways, you're hearing all these stories, Tom. Are these all excuses? What do you think is happening behind closed doors?
I think there's three things happening behind closed doors. Number one, Biden and his advisors are circling the wagons, and the core advisors, led by Jill, are saying, Joe, you can do it. Everybody has a bad night. So I call that the denial camp. Then there's the second camp, which is the Kamala Harris camp, which is not to be underestimated. She is making points to people. Late last night, I read an article that she pointed at some people and said, look, if we had had a health issue a month ago, I'd be president right now. Why was I good enough to be on the ticket? And I could be president right now already. And yet now you want to, say no, and you're looking for other names on a national basis. So the Kamala Harris camp has very good points that they're making. And she's saying, look, I'm doing as good as Biden is, maybe a tick better in the polls, and everybody else is unproven. I've already been here. So that's the argument she's making. That's second. The third camp is all the people that are circling, such as, Lloyd Doggett saying, hey, I really think he should step aside for the good of it, the first person to step up. And you have everyone else, which is two groups. The groups that want him to step out because it'll help the other elections of senators and congressmen. And then the people in that group, led by Gretchen and Gavin, who are raising their hands that said, we're ready, we've been standing here, and we're ready to go. That's what there's behind closed doors, Pat. In public, we all know Gavin's been saying, this is the best president of all time, and I've supported him. That's a front face, but it's Gavin and Gretchen behind closed doors.
Is there any chance it could be Pritzker?
Well, do you need Illinois? Or does Gretchen Whitmer make a compelling point? Right now, you're down 4 points in Michigan. I can deliver Michigan. We don't win this without Michigan.
Rob, can you pull up the chart stat? Was on VT.com. Adam, if you can respond to it. So sure. Go ahead, Adam.
Well, this is sort of a head-to-head matchup. There's two charts that I'll just go fire through real quick. Basically, they do head-to-head matchup saying, if you were one of these Democratic candidates and you ran against Trump, how would you fare? Somehow, in this poll, I don't know who ran this, Rob, if you can see this, it basically shows that Biden and Trump are sort of in a dead heat. We all know that that's not too accurate. But the only Democrat who abundantly, apparently, could beat Trump is Michelle Obama. And I've been very candid that she's never ran for office. I don't think she's planning on running for office. It seems like a pipe dream.
She's the Hail Mary.
She's the only saving grace at this point. And until that actually happens, I don't believe it'll happen. But every other name, I said in the last podcast, there's only two names that you should focus on, Kamala and Newsom. All these other things I know, Tom.
So you went through it fast. Sure. Yep. This is showing who matches up best with Trump. Correct. So in this analysis, it shows Michelle's got an 11-point lead on Trump.
Yes.
That's scary.
Yeah. Rob, who ran this? Is it Ipsos?
Yes, and with Reuters.
Okay, gotcha. So pretty credible source.
Right.
So let's just say we believe this number. What type of conversations are they having with Michelle Obama and Barack Obama behind the scenes? They're involved at this point. Everyone's claiming it's a shadow presidency. Barack's been running the show.
At this point, or they've been telling him what to do.
But, they didn't listen then. Well, but every other name on this list, and Tom, you might think otherwise, like Gretchen Whitmer, J.B. Pritzker, people don't know these people. Their stats don't match up, and it looks close here. But Rob, there's one other. This all comes down to name recognition. Here's what's crazy about America. Donald Trump and Joe Biden, if you look on the top right, the colors in gray, it shows the percentage of people that are not familiar with these names. 1% to 2% of America says they don't even know who Donald Trump or Joe Biden is. Those are the dementia people. So maybe Joe Biden fell in that
camp. He probably doesn't even know who he is. So,
but beyond that, everyone knows Michelle Obama, Kamala, even Gavin has not a lot of name recognition beyond the state of California or national electorate. But the J.B. Pritzkers of the world or the Gretchen Whitmers of the world, people don't know these people. So if you just surprise Gretchen Whitmer as a candidate as if she's anointed, and it would fail miserably.
Yeah, and all her dirt will come out too, because remember that fake kidnapping that they figured out, they found out that the FBI had informants and they staged that entire thing and it was all BS. All her dirt's going to come out.
Yeah.
And Gavin has
Gavin's
recognition. Only 29% on this chart said they hadn't heard of him.
Correct.
But 41% have an unfavorable view of Gavin. He's raised his head, but he's covered in California failure.
The media has been sort of presenting them as the next man up. But the reality is, it's going to be Kamala if it's anyone.
Which I agree with, but I hope, but let's remember, when you saw that 40-40, it's a dead heat right now between Biden, because like you said, Democrats are going to go right in with Biden no matter what. But I just hope the independents understand, the people that are kind of in the middle, and realize it doesn't matter if they put in anybody, whoever the hell they put in, the policies are still going to be the same. If you like what's happening in America right now, nothing is going to change. This whole identity politics, she's a black woman, she's a woman of color, she's Indian, let's not play that game, okay? She's an Indian woman, which has nothing to do with what she's going to do if she gets in. It's going to be the same politics. And then, Tom, what about the debates? Trump versus her in a debate, who wins that debate?
I think Trump is going to come out on top of that because she's got to defend the same economic policies, and she comes from California, where she's personally responsible for the 3 strikes laws and the disaster that happened.
Well, I mean, if you look at this, Tom, this is the unfavorability. Kamala's 57%.
They hate her.
That is nasty, right?
She's within 3 points of Biden, who's got the economy stuck to him.
And what do you call it? Michelle is at 42. Gavin is at 41. So Gavin's unfavorability is lower than Michelle's. So it's not as bad as you guys think it is. And then Gretchen, the other 3, the reason why it's not as high is because of them not recognizing it. Like, I've never heard of them.
Right.
Gavin Newsom, 29%, never heard of them. Okay. And then you got Kamala and Michelle and the other ones. Okay. So now Trump yesterday is golfing, right? And somebody records him. If you can play this clip, Rob, of Trump golfing, and he's talking about Kamala, and just watch this here. Go ahead and play this clip.
The other night. Amazing. Kicked that old broken down pile of crap. Yeah. It's a bad guy. He just quit, He's quitting the race. Is that right? Yep. I got him out of the race. And that means we have Kamala. I think she's going to be better. She's so bad. She's so pathetic. It's so amazing. It's just so fucking bad. So I just can't imagine. But can you imagine that guy dealing with Putin and the president of China, who's a fierce person? He's a fierce man. Right. A very tough guy, and they see him. They probably he can't. But they just announced he's probably quitting. Good. Very good. Yeah, that's amazing. Just keep knocking him out.
So everybody is showing this yesterday, reacting to it. What are your thoughts when you see it? What are you reacting to when you see what he says there, Tom?
First of all, who in the circle is there recording off comments like that? Everybody's making off comments, and you're going to be careful if you're running for president, assuming that there's a camera in every rose bush. I think...
Is that a good look or a bad look for him?
I think, look, it's an off-the-cuff look, and if you know Trump, I think a lot of Americans agree with what he just said. There's some profanity in there, but I think they agree with what he just said. How do you see... So I thought it was kind of a good look in one regard. I think that's the authentic position, and it's not any different from the position that Trump has. Is it, unfiltered and not as polished from a podium and someone's recording it off the cuff? Yes. But it is the way he feels. He says, Biden's broken down. He is broken down. It says Kamala's going to be the one. There's a lot of people, including me, that think that that's just the way the dominoes are about to fall. And then lastly, he's making a great point. Who do you want at the table with Xi and Putin?
Yeah, I don't think there's anything that Trump can say on camera or off camera that would change how the public looks at him. I mean,
period.
Grab him by the...
Yeah.
Any other candidate in history, political history, would have ended their campaign the next day. Trump doubled down on that. We've learned with Trump, he's the Teflon Don. Whether you like him or not, the guy can say anything he wants and get away with it.
But he apologized.
So this video,
apologized.
He apologized to what?
When he said grab him by the whatever, he goes, I'm sorry, it was locker room talk. He came out that day.
I don't know if he's ever said the word I'm sorry.
No. He said that was locker room talk, and that
He
was
did
guys,
say
and
that,
that was.
yeah.
But in regard to this, they're at Bedminster playing. That guy was secretly recording the president, which is a violation of Trump's private property policy. You can't be recording people while they're out there. It's ridiculous. But this was like one of their gotcha moments. Oh, we got Trump. No. Everything that he said was absolutely true.
Yeah.
She's horrible. Biden's horrible. They said the entire Democratic movement is trash. And I'm tired of people dancing around. No, it is, Adam. I'm tired of people dancing around going, he's old or this or whatever. Take out and put anybody in there. What's going to change? The border's going to be open. The economy's going to be shit. Kids are going to be sexualized. LGBT drag queen shows. Nothing's going to change. So why is it a complaint? It has to be Trump.
For me, when I see something like this, when they show the video, I think this does nothing to Trump.
Thank you.
Hurt or help him. This is nothing whatsoever. There's a part of this guy, knowing who he is, that he's glad it was here.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, he's
I agree.
a power player is like, okay, thank God it's out. Go ahead. That's exactly what I said. What do you want to do about it, right? It's leaked. That's the conversation we're having. Whoever the other guy is, who knows, the person that knows who that guy is, do you understand what I'm saying? Like, for example, if you're the guy that recorded this meeting asked somebody if it was a good idea to leak it, right? Do you think this is a good idea to leak it? The person that also said it's a good idea to leak it because it's going to go viral and everyone's going to talk about it, you have to be careful with having people like that. These are not in a circle, obviously. That would never happen in people in the circle, but you have to be careful with that. This is in a way, to me, the same level of carefulness you need to have with security around you. Security around you. Someone stepping out and saying, "Hey, another person that's standing there in between to protect the president." My concern right now is security. That's my number one concern. Between now and the next 120 days, whatever we got, there needs to be better security, and this is a form of security. If you ask me, this is a form and an element of security that isn't at the bulletproof. I don't mean it in any way. Bulletproof security that you need. This is a little bit of a leak in that security.
I agree with you. I think this clip of him is a net positive. I don't think there's anything that's going to do anything to harm his numbers. But Vinny, I want to address something you said about how the Democratic Party is a mess. It's falling apart. You said it was shit.
It is shit.
I'll say it out loud. I'm gonna give you a little movie analogy, and I think this is very apropos. You ever see the movie Titanic?
Of course.
Okay, what was the Titanic called? The nickname of the ship Titanic.
The Titanic.
It was called the unsinkable ship.
Yeah.
So my argument at this point, the Democratic Party is now officially the Titanic. It was the unsinkable ship. Biden, it was the largest ship ever. Biden, 80 million votes.
Yeah.
Everyone. 81 million votes. But what's happened, especially since that debate, is it hit the iceberg, bro. Mm-hmm. And what happened is, the first thing that happened when they hit the iceberg, people were like, what just happened here? What just happened? And then to calm the passengers of the ship, what did they send out? The orchestra.
Yeah, start playing the violin.
Guys, just start playing the violin.
Yeah.
Nothing to see here. Yeah. No big deal. All of a sudden, there's disbelief. All of a sudden, panic sets in. What's going on here? The ship engineer in the scene in the movie, he's just like almost shell-shocked. He's disdained by the fact that he's dejected. Oh my God, my ship, this unsinkable ship, this is happening right now. The captain of the ship, there's a moment where he's seeing the ship. The captain goes down with the ship. He's contemplating life. The orchestra's still playing. Yeah. All the surrogates out there saying, he's still our guy. This is what's happening right here. And the aristocrats, the donors are just like frozen in disbelief. But then it cuts to everyone else. And there's chaos, panic, craziness. Shooting, at one point, a security guard shoots one of the passengers that's trying to get on a lifeguard boat. And that's what's happening right here. And the orchestra leader says to his fellow bandmates, it's been a pleasure playing with you guys. That's what's happening to the Democratic Party right now. Mm-hmm. Is they hit the iceberg, there's panic, it's chaos, things are going crazy right now. And we're going to see what happens with the Democratic Party.
I think it's... okay, that's one way to look at it. I look at it this way. Right now, you are hearing Dems come out and you're hearing aides come out and people come out and saying, we have known this for a year and a half.
We've known it for 4 years.
Well, we've known it further, but they're saying we've known this for a year and a half. And it's basically, this is like a crummy little apartment. And you walk into the kitchen at midnight and you turn on the lights and the roaches run. And I think that's exactly what I'm seeing. But everybody's running for cover. Everybody is now worried for their lives because what you were not hearing and we're not seeing in the headlines that are in sub-headlines, and if you go deep, I was up till 2 a.m. reading on this, you are seeing down ballot people saying, dude, I'm a U.S. representative from, District 101 in Virginia. I was up 5. I've got a fight on my hands, and now I'm like 1.5. I'm scared to death because I need the coattails, red wave. I need the blue wave to continue this. There are representatives. This is going to reshape the Senate and the House, and I think what you're hearing. I stick to my 3 points. Biden's people are digging in. Kamala's people are saying, wait, this should be us. And then you got the people raising their hands, including Gretchen, who makes a serious case about Michigan. And then all the down ballot people are saying to the DNC, what the hell are you going to do about this? How are you going to help me save this seat?
Yeah, by the way, and I'm happy as hell that it's turning out to be like this. Think about it. Kamala's bringing her crap. Jill Biden, who's sitting in Air Force One with the glasses behind the desk, she doesn't want to leave because once this is done, she's irrelevant.
I like this. This is fun.
She's irrelevant. Dr. Jill, that's all finished. And then Hunter Biden, think about this, Tommy. Hunter Biden, a convicted crackhead degenerate, is in the cabinet meetings with him now because he doesn't want his daddy to leave. Because if his daddy leaves, he's going to prison.
You can say that, but I'll say this for Hunter. If Hunter is coming to his dad's aid right now, that doesn't surprise me. And I actually respect that a little bit, despite his background.
So here's what I would say. I think right now with Trump, the less he does, the better it is right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Let these guys go at it, and they're eating each other up right now. Okay, these meetings going to be had, and as a counterpuncher, there's a couple things you can do if you get insider information, which is many times camps will do. Let's just say somebody's on the Biden train on the inside, and they're like, "Oh my God, this is a shit show, and I'm leaving this," right? And they give that information to somebody else. All right, you can play a certain game to say, how do they know what our next move is? They must have somebody on the inside. You can play that game. Sure, there's ways of playing it. I just think right now, everything favors Trump, but also at the same time, Vivek said something. Vivek said that they're going to delay choosing their candidate of replacing Biden as much as possible. Vivek said this. He says they're going to delay it as long as they can before they announce who the person is. Okay, maybe even after the DNC. That's a long time. I don't know if it's going to be that long. It may be.
I don't think they can wait after.
No, I don't think so. But a part of it for me right now is also, he's explaining that the later the candidate comes, there's less time to what do you call it?
Prep for the debate.
So if the Trump campaign is watching, here's an idea for a campaign video to make. Okay, here's an idea for a campaign video to make. Campaign video may be the following. Look, I hope you're ready for one of two things. Either they're going to stay with this or they're going to stay with Kamala. Regardless of whoever else they bring, one by one, you need to tell their story in 7 seconds.
Oh.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes,
if they bring Newsom, never forget these three things. If they bring Whitmer, remember what you did here. If they bring Pritzker, you have to play offense now to create a 1-minute ad. He'll post it on his Instagram account and Twitter. That'll go viral. And it's prepping on if they bring. And then, when they do that, you're sitting there like, oh, okay, all right. So they just went ahead of it and they're taking the objections out. So the market is ready for it. I think RNC needs to be intentional. I think you have to have certain guests. RNC's coming up, in 2 weeks? Something like that, right? When is it? 17th?
It's in 10 days. It's on the 15th, so it's in 11 days.
Okay, it's in 11 days. So the RNC speakers have to be very, very intentional. You need a couple surprise speakers at the RNC. Somebody behind closed doors needs to be closing a couple names to speak there that's going to be key people to speak. For example, let me give you an idea what's a victory of speaking at the RNC. Joe Manchin speaking at the RNC, a victory. And a couple names who have influences on the celebrity side, on the sports side, if they have a couple guys that are very intentional here, proactive, maybe somebody in California that was a Newsom person that is explaining how bad things got in California. A former California person needs to explain that. Somebody from Pritzker, Illinois, what really happened under Pritzker. Somebody under Whitmer that's a speaker at RNC. Somebody from all of these possible places needs to come and tell the history. So one, I need celebrity status on surprises that I'm going to have. And two, I'm going to have certain speakers that are going to be proactive. So the other says, oh my God, how did they get that guy to speak over there? You tell him to get off the stage. You better tell him he's got 2 hours. If he goes on, I swear to God, we will never get him. It's going to be that kind of a situation to take place. I think RNC could cause even more disruption for the left because here's a question for all of us to ask ourselves. What's the likelihood they pick somebody before RNC?
That who does?
The left. What's the chances?
Oh, I don't think that's happening in the next 10 days. However, something to consider in the next 10 days, Trump's probably going to have to name his VP by the time the RNC shows up.
But let me ask you a question.
Think about that.
Tom, do you think they're going to have Biden set aside before RNC?
No, I do not think so. I'm 80% that I think it won't happen. There is only one scenario, and that is if Biden anoints Kamala and steps out of the way. If Biden verbally comes to the microphone, anoints Kamala, and steps out of the way, I think that could happen before RNC. But I agree with the analysis that you're sharing. That's also Vivek talking about that they need to delay it, and it will not be ahead of the RNC if it's some sort of selection.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, so if there's some sort of selection. So you don't think that's... I agree that it's not going to happen before RNC.
Unless Biden and Kamala just do a power play and said, I'm stepping.
Well, the Stephanopoulos meeting is when? Is it tomorrow?
Tomorrow, the 5th. Friday the 5th. It'll be the news all over the weekend, 6th and 7th.
That's the Biden conversation, scripted conversation with George Stephanopoulos on ABC. Is that what you're referring to?
Yes.
Yeah.
That he's currently studying for. Oh, wait a minute. It's nap time now, actually.
Well, Pat, just something to consider. I think you're absolutely right. Trump, there's nothing for him to do this week. Just be cool, baby, lay low. What did Sun Tzu say? When your enemy is in the middle of making a mistake, just step out of the way. In so many words, don't interrupt them. That's what's happening. Let them figure out what the hell they got to figure out. There's chaos. There's panic ensuing over here. Just something to consider as far as, numbers, as the BizDoc always says, words talk, numbers scream. Everything in life is about expectations. The expectations of what was going to happen in the debate. Here's a little fun stat for you. 6% of people, I don't know what they were thinking, think that Biden exceeded expectations at the debate. Sure. Like they assumed him to do this.
6%?
6%. Right?
Well, that's 6% of America probably uses alcohol and drugs and combine it.
This guy killed it, buddy. He's
falling off the boat.
That was insane.
The flip side of that,
dude. Did you see that unicorn in the back?
Exactly. Meaning the vast majority of Americans were not obviously understanding what he said. In the famous quote, I don't even think he understood what he said. I don't know what he said.
Yeah.
But here's the thing with Trump talking about laying low. 46% of Americans thinks that Trump exceeded expectations, meaning they thought Trump would do this, and almost half of America were like, oh, he actually did way better. Why? Because I said this in the last podcast, he could have been way meaner and crueler to Biden.
Yeah, the rules
like he could have been like, what
him.
is happening right here with this guy? This guy's falling apart before our eyes. But he didn't. He just said that one line that you sort of said.
I don't even know what he said.
You'd be in jail moment. I don't even know what he said. I don't think he even know what he said. But I agree that Trump should just lay low until the RNC, and then it's showtime.
How would you like to meet Dwayne Johnson, take a picture with him, and be celebrated in front of nearly 10,000 people at Palm Beach Convention Center? Let me tell you how. Years ago, when I was a financial advisor, insurance agent, and nobody knew who I was, small time, I'm trying to make it happen. I'm trying to get to clients, but no one's answering my calls because back then there was no Instagram, email, none of this stuff. I went to the store called DSW, and I would buy shoes. Cheap shoes, but I would buy shoes. And I would take one of the shoes out of the box, and I would put the other shoe in a box with a note in it. This was a way of being funny. And in the box, I would say, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, now that I got one foot in the door, help me get the next one in. I'm a local financial advisor, et cetera, et cetera. And oh my God, I would send 100. I would get 50 calls back. They would laugh. This is so funny. No one's ever sent us a shoe. We wouldn't mind getting the other one. 20% of them would say, this is so funny that we're willing to listen to, and I'd go to their house and I would do business with them. Now think about today. This story I'm telling you, this is 2001, 2002. Today, if you want to prospect somebody or meet somebody doing business, you know you're one contact away from your life changing. That's what happened to me many, many times in my life. Today, you can send a cold email, less than 1% chance somebody responds to you. You can DM somebody, less than 3%. Twitter is less than 5%. LinkedIn is less than 8%. However, this is why we built the app Monect. And I'm about to announce the next contest to you. On Monect app, you download the app, you send a message, but you pay for the other person to get back to you in a text, in a video, or 15-minute FaceTime call. 94% chance they respond to you on the app. That's Monect numbers. Changing people's life, creating ways for people. There's one guy that's buying buildings that were former strip clubs and turn them into rehabilitation centers. There's a guy that's raising millions of dollars just through Monect. There's a guy that's sitting there talking to others about business ideas, HR question, marriage question, relationship questions. But here's the latest contest with Monect, if you haven't downloaded it yet. The last contest we announced, we had a massive party, dinner. We came down here, had cigar, did a podcast together pretty much for 6 hours. We were together. This next one here, we have a new contest announced from July 1st, and it goes to the end of the month in the month of August. Here's how it works. The winner, the top winners of the different categories, there's 5 categories. You get on the stage at the Vault Conference. You got to buy the ticket yourself. On stage in front of 5,000 people. The winners get a championship belt. The winners go to the back and get a chance to meet Dwayne Johnson and take a picture with them. The winners get invited to a private CEO lounge at the conference. They're invited to my suite, and a sprinter will come and pick you up. You come back to my suite. We'll have a nice hour and a half conversation to get a strategy session together. And then obviously while you're at the Vault Conference, you'll be with everybody else. The last one was such a big hit, but here's how the contest works. Lightweight category, you have 5 categories that you're not performing in. Total completed Monects, total unique Monects, total reviews, unique reviews, and money earned. The one on the left shows how many you've done. The one on the right shows where you rank in it. Lightweight is people who have never used Monect before as an expert. Right now, first place will be Stephen Hamill, then Carolyn Ariano, and that's for lightweight. Go to middleweight, Rob. Middleweight is people that are experts who have done 1 of 50 Monects. These guys are all competing against each other. You got Candace Owens at the top, who has done the most, Rob, if you can go a little higher, who has done the most Monects, done the most unique Monects, reviews, total reviews, dollars earned. And you notice she's number 1 ranked on the right, except second place in dollar. Then it's Aaron Borgman, Robert, Samuel. You'll see the names. Go lower. Then you have the heavyweight, people that have done 51 plus Monects. Dennis Paneva's next. First, then it's Calvin, then it's Dustin, then it's Chris Cuomo. Go lower, then we have the home team, which is Vinny at the top, then it's myself, then Tom. Then users, people that are asking questions. You download the Monect, you've never done it before, you simply ask people questions. Total Monects, total unique experts you ask questions of, total dollar spent, total reviews, Monects made public, whoever does the most, they win. And at this point right now, it's Armstead King, then it's Clinton Breve, then it's Chandler C. And if you go below, then you have the existing users who have done Monects before. At the top is Jeanette Garibian today, then it's Kyle Starr, and the list goes on. Anyways, if you want to be in the right environment and use the app to Monect and connect with others, Monect is slowly becoming the #1 app on social media for networking where people actually get back to you. So if you want to compete in the next contest, download the app, start Monecting today, and go on Monect.com. Look at the Leaders Bulletin to see where you rank because it updates on a daily basis. Looking forward to seeing you compete for this next Monect contest.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.